All right, welcome in everyone to A Programmer Ranks the Games He Played in 2025. That's right, it's time for our second installment of our now annual tradition of ranking all the games that we played. Like I explained last year, we're not doing like the S through F tier thing. I don't. Getting any game finished is a minor miracle, and so I don't want to rank anything like badly for that. There are games that I didn't resonate with. A lot of this ranking system is very subjective. It's very like my preferences. So take all of this with a grain of salt. But we're going to do our ranks of like what I consider a must play. Everyone should play this. No qualifiers. It's a must play. Outstanding meaning it's a great game. Good meaning it's good. Fine meaning it's fine. It's whatever. I didn't enjoy it, and then the dreaded did not finish category. We almost didn't need that category this year, I don't think. We did have an exception, so we're gonna start this off. We're just gonna go basically alphabetical. And we're gonna start off with After Image. I'm gonna put After Image. I think I'm gonna put After Image in outstanding. It's somewhere between good and outstanding for me. I think I'm gonna stick with outstanding. The reason being, like, you look at After Image and you're like the impression that it gives is like, oh, this is like a mobile game with like some like platforming mechanics, and then you play it and you're like, no, actually, like this is like pretty legit. This game's got some good stuff in it. The story isn't the best. That's why it's not a must play. The story's got some to it, but the actual like gameplay of it is really fun, and the world is huge. There's so much world. Also, the music way catchier than I initially thought. I was caught myself humming a lot of the tunes after the fact. So yeah, After Image, it's honestly like a really good game. Moving on, let's do Anodyne. Anodyne's tricky. I'm gonna put Anodyne in good. This is a this one more than I think almost any of the others is going to be really up to your personal preferences. Um, what do you like in video games? Because Anodyne is very much like this is like made by people for themselves, which is a great way to make games. Um, I think that games should be made for their own authors and not trying to like appeal to everyone, because you get really interesting stuff out of that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to put Anodyne into outstanding, but I'm gonna keep it in good. It's a really good game. It's weird. It's not for everyone, but I really liked it. And then very much the same thing for Anodyne 2. Anodyne 2, perhaps even more so than Anodyne, is a weird game that like the initial like hour is kind of off-putting, to be honest. It's the least interesting hour of the game, but the longer the game goes, the better it gets. The more hooks it gets into you, the more you like get what the creators are doing. I think it's super cool. It's super cool, in terms of like just moment to moment, like, oh, this is really clever. This is like a fun idea that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. Anodyne's really high up there. It's got a really high density, like, innovation to playtime ratio. Ascent. So Ascent's a little tricky. I'm biased because I know that it was made in a framework that I quite like, and so like I popped open the source code and looked at it, and I was like, "Ah, oh, this is so cool. This is fun." But like that's a very me thing. Like that's beyond the like scope of the game itself. The game itself is super short. It's like maybe an hour. But inside of that hour, it's good. So I'm gonna put it in good. Um, if it was longer, I think that would help it. Because Metroidvanias generally have kind of a cumulative effect, right? Like the more you can explore, the more upgrades you can find, the better. Like that generally is how I think things go. Um, Astronaut. I think I'm gonna put Astronaut in I didn't enjoy it. I'm kind of not trusting my own memory already because I don't even remember when I played. I remember being kind of grumpy while playing Astronaut, and a lot of that comes down to the 1-bit art style. I don't really truck with 1-bit art style. Let's actually put it in fine. I don't think I didn't enjoy it. I think I wanted to like it more. I wanted it to prove me wrong about the 1-bit thing, and it didn't. Astronium is, again, this is a very subjective list. Astronium falls into a lot the same category as Ascent, where it's really short. Um, but Astronium, I wasn't quite my vibe as much as Ascent was. But there's a lot of shared stuff here where I think if Astronium was a little bit longer, that would help it. Um, and it would be, I would rank it higher maybe. But for like a tiny little game that's got a tiny install size and a very low price, like it's good stuff. Auto. Oh man, Auto's hard because there's a lot of things in Auto that I kind of disagreed with from a design perspective, but also like there was a lot of things that did work, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna put Auto in good. I really should have yesterday like rewatched my final thoughts of all the videos, and I didn't. I thought about I thought about loading up the all right that I say at the beginning of every video and like having 100, 300 of those all playing at once at the beginning of this video. I did not, but I thought about it. Yeah, I'm Auto being in good. I'm gonna go with that. Biogun. Biogun's outstanding, borderline must play. Like I thought Biogun was so good. And I was really surprised by it. It's a twin stick style Metroidvania. And just a great time. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed the maps. I enjoyed the weapons. I enjoyed the platforming. That was a great game. Um, Definitely recommend it. Check it out if you can do it. Ooh, Child of Light. I'm gonna put Child of Light in good. Um, I'm a little torn on that because parts of Child of Light are outstanding, and other parts are not. I personally feel like the rhyming thing didn't totally work in Child of Light, but the actual gameplay of it was pretty fun. And I do kind of wish that they had had more like exploring around. As it is, you go through that game and like your first pass is probably going to be pretty comprehensive. There's not a ton of exploration in this game, and I feel like given that you can fly, it would have been helped by more flying, but they didn't do that, and that's fine. Um, Convergence. Ooh, Convergence. I'm gonna put Convergence in. I didn't enjoy it. Um, which sucks because like there's a lot in Convergence that was good. Um, there's a lot of production value behind Convergence, but like the longer I sat on it after I finished my playthrough, the more I was like, that game is one of the bigger missed opportunities, and a lot of it came down to like you'd get into combat and it would just be a clusterfuck. Like it was just a mess, and it didn't need to be. That's just how the combat design worked out. And the rewind mechanic let them get away with it. So instead of being like a great thing that was elevating combat to like higher levels and being like, hey, this is like making things like super cool, instead it was a crutch that was letting combat be trash. And I'm not for it. I'm not for it. when the game was like doing platforming sections and you were like getting into the flow of it, that felt really good. But that's not using the rewind mechanic, which is like the mechanic. So yeah, it didn't work for me. I wanted to really like this game, and that probably is part of it. Is that I walked in wanting something on the level of Arcane, and I didn't get that. Conversely, Eldrand. Eldrand's good. I really liked Eldrand. Totally came out of nowhere for me. I didn't like it. Didn't seem like the kind of game that I would get like super into, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. I thought that game was really solid. Um, you know, I love me some pixel art. Good pixel art. Ugh, so good. Ellipse. I'm gonna put Ellipse into I didn't enjoy it as well. Um, Ellipse suffers from the one hit problem where any mistake you make, back to the last checkpoint. And that's fine for like little puzzles and whatever, but that's the whole game. Like literally everything in the game, like you have to like eventually get it perfect in order to move on to the next bit. And so like it didn't feel good, and like the game is classified as a Metroidvania, but it's really not. Like it's not actually a Metroidvania. It is a pretty linear platforming sequence. I'm not even really sure how much it's possible to deviate from the path on Ellipse. Like there might be a few sections where you gotta like you get a choice and then you come back to a central point, but like I don't even remember them being there. Evoland. I think Evoland's outstanding. Is it perfect? No. But is it like a really fun, charming, like 6 to 10 hours of gameplay? Yeah. Like it's very good. Um and like it's an idea that's gonna stick with you and you're gonna think about it a lot. Like just the core conceit of Evoland of like unlocking and achieving advancements in the meta of game like development and storytelling and technology. That's a really solid hook for an indie game. I really like it. Where is Evoland 2 in here? There it is. Why is it all the way down here? We can't talk about Evoland 1 without talking about Evoland 2. I'm going to put Evoland 2 in good. And here's why. So, like, Evoland 1 leaned more into its conceit. Evoland 2 took the conceit and, like, used it as, like, a story thing. So, like, you'd go to different eras and that'd be a different art style. And you're like, all right, that's cool. It's a lot of work. But it's not as cool as unlocking the mechanics in this one. And then also Evoland 2 like suffered from like you'd get tossed into situations where like I've had no training for this. We haven't like built up to this. We're just like suddenly in this other thing. And if you don't like that thing or aren't good at it, that's a problem. So like I remember the first time I played Evoland 2, I got to like the Street Fighter boss fight bit and struggled. Like I had a really bad time with it because I'm not a fighting game guy. I'm just not. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like you get dropped into it and just like get good or get out. And it that almost made me bounce on the game the first time around I played it. I didn't finish it this time, but it was a struggle. I also do like I wish I wasn't doing this, but I can tell that I'm docking points from Evoland 2 because the 3D sections were really unstable for me. We crashed in that game a lot, and that like I don't want that to affect my enjoyment, but it totally does because it like you lose your momentum if you lost some save data. That feels really bad. It just leaves a really sour taste in your mouth, and it affects your behavior because like I found myself like trying to do stuff in the 2D eras and not in the 3D era because I was worried about that 3D era crashing things. And that's not good. No game should be like that. Bug fix your games. All right, Grime. I'm putting Grime in outstanding. It's bordering on must play. Um I was not expecting Grime to come in and charm me the way that it did. Um, just like the parry mechanic was so good. I thought the world was so interesting. I had a great time with Grime. Speaking of great games, though, Guacamelee. I think Guacamelee is a must play. Guacamelee is one of my favorite games ever made. It's funny, it's very pretty, it's got great music, and the combat is just so good, especially when you combine that with the platforming, which is so good, and especially when you combine that with the drop-in couch co-op, which works over remote play flawlessly. I've played through Guacamelee multiple times with various people in completely different cities, and it's worked great. Um, some of the people in this very chat have played through this game with me. So, yeah, Guacamelee. I think everyone who even a little bit likes platformers, Metroidvanias, brawlers, they should play Guacamelee. Let's talk now about Haak. Oh man, where should I put Haak? I'm gonna put Haak in outstanding. There was a few translation issues. There was a few like odds and ends that I didn't love, but there's also like the game was clearly working hard to like make things work. And I thought it did a great job. I thought that Haak um, really like put in the effort to make itself great, and I appreciated it. I also really appreciated the way that they handled the final boss. I won't talk about it here, just in case anyone like hasn't played it, might be interested. But I thought it was a really interesting way to handle final boss stuff and just the story in general. Like it ended nicely. It worked for me. So also Haktua. Right, there we go. A little more space. All right, now we finally get to come over to Inmost. Inmost is a masterpiece. Inmost is a must play. Everyone should play Inmost. It is so freaking good. Um, it's short, it's beautiful, phenomenal story. Um, great checkpointing system in case you want to like go back and look at things again. The music, the art direction, it Inmost is firing on all cylinders. It is such a good game, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Um, yeah, definitely check out Inmost. I want to talk more about Inmost, but like I feel like I can't without spoilers, and like I want everyone to go play it. So no spoilers, but like go play Inmost. Pick up Inmost. It'll be cheap somewhere. I guarantee you. Like it's a very affordably priced game. Go play Inmost. Microvania. I thought Microvania was pretty good. I liked it quite a lot. It's very simple. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It is a micro Metroidvania. You come in and it's just a good time. There's some little bits, like little quibbles about like the map and the progression order. Like you can get to the final boss and like not have done a fair bit of stuff, but that's fine. Like that's part of the Metroidvania world. So yeah, Microvania, check it out. It again, tiny little game. I appreciate a tiny game that like keeps it simple. Mind Seas. Mind Seas is tricky. I'm gonna put Mind Seas in fine. It's fine. Honestly, it's good. But there was just some writing stuff that like didn't work for me in a really unfortunate way. I'm gonna put it in good. I'm gonna put it in good. Um, there were some rough edges there that could have been better, but like it was overall still a good game. So yeah, it's good. Um, Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. This is kind of like the classic Momodora entry, right? I'm gonna put it in outstanding. I think that Momodora, Reverie Under the Pale Moonlight, is an outstanding game. It's really good. It's very stylish. It's fun. The story is good. There's some rough edges, like it's teetering on going into the good category for me. Um, but I think yeah, outstanding. Um, I'm a little torn on it. A part of me is like this goes in the good, but like when I think about like Momodora versus Mindseas, like Momodora blows Mindseas out of the water, and I just bumped Mindseas up into good. So yeah, we'll keep Momodora in outstanding. Moth Planet. Moth Planet, I'm gonna put in good. It sets out to do a thing, and it does that thing. It's a very modest game in a lot of ways. The biggest problem with Moth Planet was like the way that you control your character feels like maybe it could be like really high skill ceiling and like once you really know how it works, you can like really blast through the game. But because it's so like screen based, I feel like you can't really get it going. Instead, you just have to memorize things in order to really be great at the controls. Because otherwise, you'll just rocket into the next room and then have a bad time. And so, like, yeah, Moth Planet's good. Like, don't get me wrong. I sound like I'm being pretty harsh on it, but I enjoyed it. You can tell that the game is like a early foray into game development. There's a fair number of things that are like this feels like someone's like first published game, and so I'm really interested to see what their next big game is because you learn so many lessons making that first game. And this is why game jams are great, right? Like you learn so much just doing it. And some of those lessons only happen when you make something fairly large. So game jams aren't great for that, but still, getting that experience, you make better games the second time around usually. Oceanhorn Cronus Dungeon. This one's tricky. Uh I'm gonna put Cronus Dungeon. I'm gonna put it in good. Um, it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I want to replay it with friends because I played it by myself. And it's very much intended to be a multiplayer game. Um, the ending of it, I felt like didn't totally fit within the existing Oceanhorn chronology. So maybe that's just me being dense and not realizing something that's like obvious to everyone else. But I don't know. I got to the ending and I'm like, wait, doesn't that invalidate the ending of Oceanhorn 2 and make Oceanhorn 1 not make any like hold on. But yeah, overall good stuff. I wish there was more like reasons to replay and like take the characters back through the dungeon a second time and a third time. Um, there wasn't, and that's fine. Pampas and Celine. This is our did not finish for this year. In general, I had a really good time playing Pampas and Celine. I thought it was a very competently made Metroidvania. The switching with the characters to do different things felt good. The mythology was fine. I mean, it's mostly cribbing from Greek mythology, but like the running around the castle felt good. And then I got to the final boss, and the final boss felt so bad that I just quit. I tried and I tried and I just it no. So I actually don't know the ending to this game. We got all the way to the final boss, and I was just like, I don't have it in me. Um, so Paradox Soul, Paradox Soul, I'm putting in fine. Um, Most of Paradox Soul is pretty good. There's a bit fairly early on in the game where if you don't run far enough to the right, you can end up like sort of screwing yourself and make the game way harder than it should be. But other than that, like you run through the game and you get down to the bottom and you get the big reveal and you're like, ah, cool. And it's like, all right, now get out. And you're like, oh. And actually getting out is just not that fun. And there's some secrets hidden that are not that clear. And like, I don't know, they really bungled it in the back half of the game, which is unfortunate because it's a fairly short game. Um, Ordinarily, Paradox Soul would be very much my kind of game. If they had ended it when you got to the bottom and gotten the reveal, I would have been happy. I would have been very happy. But that's not where the game ended. Phoenotopia. Phoenotopia is definitely outstanding. Bordering on must play. I might have to revisit my must plays. I really liked Phoenotopia. I think there's a quietly underserved community of Phoenotopia players out there who are really passionate and really like love that game, and I can totally see why. There's a lot to love in Phoenotopia. Um, I would love for there to be another Phoenotopia game. There might be one coming that I just don't know about. Um, I don't know. There was some things in Phoenotopia that I disagreed with. Like there's some map stuff that I was like, this is really hurting this game. That the devs have decided we're not doing maps um, other than the overworld map. But like, yeah. Um, in general, I had a great time with Phoenotopia. I wish it got more love and attention. Pronti is good. Um, Borderline outstanding. Um, I'm gonna keep it in good, but it's quite good. I liked Pronti a lot. The art's very good. The story works. The gameplay of it's just a solidly done game. Some of the fights got kind of aggravating, but that's fine. Like it's no Silk Song. Um, so yeah, if you want like Hollow Knight but under the ocean, Pronti's your go-to. Rusted Moss. We just played Rusted Moss, and I'm putting that in outstanding. Rusted Moss has a lot in common with Momodora. I felt like, um, just kind of like stylistically, the way that the pixel art worked, the way that the story was told, just kind of the vibe. But also, like, remember how I mentioned that Moth Planet, like, it felt like there was like a high skill ceiling, like you could really get into it with the controls. Rusted Moss is that, like, but like done properly. You can tell, like, oh, someone can really get good using the grapple mechanic in Rusted Moss. And by the time that you get to the end of the game, you probably are pretty good at it. I'm gonna replay Rusted Moss at some point. I'll be really interested to see what my playtime looks like on the second time through because I'm betting it'll be night and day. I'm betting that the skill improvements that I got from playing through Rusted Moss one time are going to carry into the second time, and it's going to be a very different game of just like blasting through the early parts of it at Mach 5. Yeah, Rusted Moss, highly recommend. Um, so Saga of the Moon Priestess, I enjoyed. I'm gonna put in good. It's not the best. It could use a little more content, but the ideas that were in it were fun. Combat was perfectly serviceable. It just needed more, I think. Little more, little more heft to it to really like let it shine more. All right, Shantae Risky Revolution. Do I put it in outstanding? I think I do. I I wanted the world revolving mechanic to be used more in Shantae Risky Revolution, but like that's not what it was. It was more of a flip thing, and that's fine. The game was still fun. Like the character art was charming and or appealing. How do we want to phrase this? It's Shantae. You all know. Um, Music was good as always. Just the gameplay of it was really fun. There was a couple of like little misses in it. A few things that did not make sense, but in general, yeah, I had a good time with Risky Revolution. I'm excited that it exists. And now we get to the hardest of the lot. Um, Silk Song. A lot of Silk Song. I would even say the bulk of Silk Song is masterpiece. It's must play. It's so good. But also, I genuinely think that Team Cherry made a lot of difficulty decisions that made me not enjoy Silk Song. So it's like it's such a weird juxtaposition of a game where simultaneously it's a brilliant game and you're having a bad time playing it. And like, how do you rectify that? The game is both really good and you want everyone to know about it, but also bad. And why did they do this? And god damn it, Team Cherry, you guys are so frustrating. I'm gonna put it in outstanding. Most of it is a masterpiece, but not all of it. And I really think that the difficulty of the game hurts it. And Team Cherry, like the classic argument is, oh, if the game's too easy, then the game just plays itself. And I'm over here like, what are you talking about? The game plays it? No, it doesn't. That's not what video games do. That's a movie. Silk Song is as far from a movie as it gets. Like, I don't know. Like the argument of like, oh well, the difficulty is there to give you something to like feel good about overcoming. Okay, sure. That doesn't work for me personally, but sure, that's a valid design thing. Team Cherry will also say like, oh well, you know, the nice thing about the design of Metroidvanias is that you can always leave and go do something else and get more power. And the answer to that is yes, sometimes. There's not that much power to be had in Silk Song. You start out with 5 hearts, and you can get 5 more. So you can double your health. Hooray! You can also, put on some temporary masks using the plasmium, but that's an opportunity cost to do that. But so like, let's say you've got all 10 hearts, right? Well, if the enemies are hitting you for 2, then that's 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. That's 5 mistakes, right? As opposed to when you started, 3 mistakes. That's not a huge difference. Like, you get your first heart upgrade in Silk Song, and you're just like, man, this doesn't mean anything because I'm probably getting it about the time I'm fighting the last judge, and the last judge hits for 2. So I've gone from being able to make 3 mistakes to being able to make 3 mistakes. Hooray! Um, it just, I don't know. It there's so much about Silk Song that's so good, but also so much about Silk Song that's so infuriating. And like the whole thing, like Team Cherry's like, well, you could just find another route. And it's like, sure, that works for the last judge. Like, absolutely. You look at the last judge and you say, nope, I've got to find a different way, and you do. You find Phantom, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I love that exists. But then, like, you're trying to get to the end of the game. It's like, you've got to get through the coral chambers. You just gotta. And it's like 12 rounds of combat room. Ooh, that is a steep ask. Or you're trying to get to the true ending. It's like, okay, you've got to beat Grohl. And Grohl's got a hell of a run back, which I think a lot of people focus on the run backs more than they should, but they are kind of they're punishing. I don't really believe in the run back philosophy of like, oh, it lets you like think about the fight. No, it creates distance between you practicing and you like benefiting from that practice. Um, and at the end of the day, we've all got to beat the final boss of Silksong, and that boss is just really hard. I spent so long actually getting myself to the point where I could beat that final boss. Ugh, it. Ugh. So yeah, Silksong, we're putting it outstanding. I wish I could just say everybody should play Silksong, but it is definitely not for everybody. It's barely for me, even though it's brilliant and beautiful and great storytelling and everything. I'm mad just thinking about it. Somber Echoes. Whew. Somber Echoes is teetering between good and outstanding. I'm gonna put it. I'm putting it in good. Mostly because there was a few missteps that I think left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Specifically with like the final boss, where you beat the final boss and you get 90% the same cutscene again. And you're just like, man, I don't want to see the same 90% of this cutscene 4 times. That's too many times. This has gone from being a reward to being a punishment. And that's a really bad misstep to have at the end of the game. There's also like the narrator for Somber Echoes. I've done whatever the opposite of warming to something is. I've cooled to the narrator of Somber Echoes and the like very strange way that they like structured her sentences, almost Yoda syntax. Um, I don't know. It the more I think back on it, the more I'm like, don't love that. The actual gameplay of Somber Echoes is good. The map is really good. The story node thing is very cool. The upgrades very satisfying, but it did suffer from just like implementation issues and like, did you guys really think through like the end result of this all the way through? All right, next up, Songbird Symphony. All right. Again, this is a very subjective opinion thing. I'm a white guy with no rhythm. I didn't enjoy Songbird Symphony. I don't think that the story was bad. I don't think that the music was bad. I don't think that the art was bad. In fact, I think the art was pretty good and the music was pretty good. It's just that the gameplay of Songbird Symphony was not for me, and so I didn't have a good time playing it. If the game had a no rhythm mode or like some way to like change what style of thing it was getting you to do, I think I would have had a much better time because I like music. Like I enjoy good synesthesia combination of music and visuals, but Songbird Symphony asked me to do a thing that I'm just not able to do, and I had a bad time because of it. So, yeah. Right, next up, kind of very much in contrast to Songbird Symphony because like there's a lot of visual similarities. The Ramsey. I thought the Ramsey was outstanding. I completely didn't see the Ramsey coming, but had a great time with it. Mechanically, very clever. The storytelling, very cute and fun. The world, good to explore. It's a great little game. Just totally like I knew nothing about the Ramsey. I walked in and I was like, yeah, this is charming as hell. What a fun little experience. After the Ramsey, we've got one that I played literally yesterday. So this is very fresh on my mind. Transaruby. I'm gonna put Transaruby on good. It's quite good. There was a few little things that I wish that I could zoom in on the map. Like it's a fairly small feature to ask for, but like I wanted it and I didn't have it. There was also the issue of like the game made you go back to previous areas to pick up some like gem thingies. And but like you'd only pick up like two of them. And then you could go back to where you were before. And so the backtracking didn't feel that satisfying. It didn't feel that integrated. Um, and then, like when we got to the MacGuffin part of like go get the three thingies that every Metroidvania has to have, once we got to there and did it, those only took like 2 minutes. It wasn't some big like, all right, now go re-explore the world and do the thing. Instead, it was like, I'm just gonna like pop over and like I'm done. Yeah, got the thing. All right, next up, Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. I'm putting this in outstanding. I don't care what anyone says. This game's a classic, and the remake of it with the high res art, oh, so good. That art is so good, and the music, like the reorchestrated music, is so like charming and like it really nostalgic. This is a great game. I highly recommend this game. It does have its occasional like janky like NES era kind of thing, but in general, I feel like this game really like has stood the test of time and is just a very fun experience. Definitely, it's very kid friendly. Like if you want to get a kid into playing games, but you don't want them to have it easy, yeah, give them an NES game that looks like it was made in 2018 because it was roughly somewhere in there. Xanthium Zero. I'm gonna put Xanthium Zero in fine. Um, yeah, it's fine. I'll be honest. I don't remember a ton about Xanthium Zero, which is not a great sign. I don't even remember how long ago I played it. Okay, yeah. Apparently Xanthium Zero was only like 3 months ago. So that's not great that it was so recently. There's also just some jank in Xanthium Zero that hurt it a lot. So we're putting it in fine. Blaster Master. This one's also recent. This one's teetering between fine and I didn't enjoy it. There's, I'm putting it in fine because it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but there was a lot of decisions in Blaster Master Zero's design that I just didn't agree with. The way that you like had access to the full gun suite, but like you had to charge it up and then you get hit and that knocks you down to the previous gun level. I felt like that was actually like a bad design. It was a bad design because it meant that if you were fully charged up and walked into a boss fight, you would just stomp them unless you made a mistake, and then things would like completely 180 around until you died. And I don't know, like I feel like that just really undercut the game as a whole. Also, like the story, like my suspension of disbelief was struggling the whole time. So, Ghost 1.0. I think I might put it in fine too. There's a lot of good stuff in Ghost 1.0, but there's also just like some pretty meh choices and like I don't want to say cringe. Like cringe is the wrong word, but like just some of the writing just didn't click for me. And I was just like, come on, guys, we can do better. I know you can do better. So yeah, we're gonna put in fine. It probably could be in good, but I really need like more distinction between good and outstanding so that I can like split these up a little bit more. Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary, I'm putting in fine. That's gonna be a controversial decision, because I think that for most people, Monster Sanctuary would be good or maybe even outstanding. If you like Pokemon games, I'm betting Monster Sanctuary would go into outstanding. I'm not really a tactically minded person. So for me, I was really leaning on the Metroidvania aspect of Monster Sanctuary, which is only half of the puzzle. And so, like, I was not really a great target audience for it. Um, if you like Pokemon Monster Collector type stuff, then I bet that you'll really like this game. For me, I was just playing it as a Metroidvania, and that really hurt it. And like, it made it fine. It was fine. Mystic Bell. Mystic Bell's really short, but it's quite enjoyable. I'm gonna put in good. Um, Mystic Bell's kind of closer to like an old like point and click adventure game than anything else. Like it's less of a Metroidvania, less of a like platformer, and more of a like find the thing that you need to do at the place. But it's really charming, and there's like an internal logic to it that I just had a fun time with. So yeah, I think it's good. Odalis. Odalis. I'm gonna put Odalis in fine. It's border. I might should put it higher on good. Um, I like Odalis pretty well. But it definitely had some rough edges, some things that didn't work. Um, yeah, yeah. Similarly, Ultros. Ultros is tricky because like if you're talking about like the aesthetics of Ultros, they're outstanding. Ultros is a very pretty maximalist game, but the actual like mechanics of it, the growing things, is really interesting on paper, but in practice, I'm gonna put it in good. It's kind of more of a fine situation. No, I'm gonna put in good. Um, it's tricky, like that. A lot like Silk Song, where it's like you've got some things that are so good going on for you, but you've also got a lot of like mechanical things that are really hurting you, and games ultimately are very mechanically driven. So when the mechanics don't work, it doesn't matter how pretty it is. And what's funny is Ultros, I don't think like, it's a different set of problems than Silksong, where Silksong like the mechanical problems are because it's too damn hard. Ultros, the mechanical problems are just like it's not that interesting. It's kind of tedious, and you're just like, oh man, I don't want to have to do like a whole loop to grow these trees. Ugh. And so like took the teeth out of the game, you know. Last but not least, we've got the Vagrant. I think the Vagrant is fine. It looks, a little sketchy. We got a lot of booba going on this thumbnail, but it's it's fine. Like it's a perfectly serviceable game. I had a pretty good time playing it, honestly. So yeah, it's fine. And that is our 2025 year in review. Gosh, make this wider. All right, so here we go. This is our final our final tier list for 2025. We've got the must plays of Guacamelee and Inmost, the outstandings of After Image, Biogun, Evoland, Grime, Ha'ak, Momodora, Phoenotopia, Rusted Moss, Shantae, Risky's Revolution, Silk Song, The Ramsey, and Wonder Boy, The Dragon's Trap. And then going into good, we've got Anodyne 1, Anodyne 2, Ascent DX, Otto, Child of Light, Elderand, Evoland 2, Microvania, Mind Seas, Moth Planet, Oceanhorn, Chronos Dungeon, Pronti, Saga of the Moon Priestess, Somber Echoes, Transaruby, Mystic Bell, and Ultros. And then dropping down to fine, we've got Astronite, Astronium, Paradox Soul, Xanthium 0, Blaster Master 0, Ghost 1.0, Monster Sanctuary, Odalis, and the Vagrant. I personally didn't enjoy Convergence, Ellipse, or Songbird Symphony, and I did not finish Pompous and Celine. So, yeah, there we go. An entire year distilled down to one tier list. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of Metroidvanias. And yet not that many at the same time. YouTube, I hope you've enjoyed this rather verbose little tier list that I've put together. If you have, great. If you disagree with me on any of these, or if you want clarification on any of my choices, please drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Tell me where I'm dead wrong. Tell me how you would put Silksong on this list, because I'm curious. I think that's going to trip a lot of people up. And of course, if you want to see me playing any of these, there are playlists for all of these. You just go looking for them, and you will find them. In general, they're all broken up into 1 hour episodes, and you can just watch me play through the entire thing. So, yeah, until next year, bye.